Hey everybody, how are you? It's John Brewer here, South Florida's restaurant guy on YouTube and all the other places. Azor Brewer Restaurant Advisors. We will be at ICSC in Orlando coming up this week, end of August 2018. Today I want to come at you and speak about something called social media. I know a lot of restaurateurs out there don't like this subject. I probably am one of them. Unfortunately, it's a necessary evil. Social media has become a necessary evil, especially if you rely on tourism. If you're in a market that where there are tourists that are coming into your area, a lot of them are going to use Yelp and social, TripAdvisor, things of those nature. More people are using social media every day to find places that they want to try. Tourists who want to have an off the beaten path type experience, which a lot of us do. I know when I go to a foreign country or to another city, I want to go somewhere where the tourists aren't. I want to go to the place that's really going to give me a feel for the local vibe. I want to hang out with locals. I want to be served by locals. I want to go to a local restaurant. If you're an independent restaurateur, therefore, it's imperative that you address this social media thing. Like it or not, you have to do it. Dare I say, it can make or break your business at this point, really, especially if you rely on tourism a lot. It can really make or break your business, especially for the little guy. I'm going to tell a quick story. When I was at Ceviche, which was probably about 2012, Yelp had just come on the scene, and I noticed there was a proliferation of people that all of a sudden with social and Facebook and everything that were all of a sudden instant food critics. I don't mind that so much. What I did mind was when people came into the opening of the restaurant and basically were suggesting in roundabout ways that I should be giving them free food because they had 100 followers or they had 200 followers. They were suggesting I should give them a preferential treatment, that I should be really nice to them. Once I hit about the 20th person trying to do this, I was about ready to pull my hair out. So I understand where restaurateurs are coming from, but at the same time, you have to try to leverage this. It just really got to me. So what I suggest is that have your management, either your general manager or you, if you're the owner, schedule time for social media. You have to sit down. It can't just go down and kind of go through it and just a quick, breezy type response to the reviews that you get. You have to sit down, take time, and have fun with it. I mean, there's two reasons basically. Reason one is your customers. All right, websites are pretty much going to be obsolete in the next 5 years, believe it or not. I've heard that from a number of people. People are going to be going to sites like Yelp and TripAdvisor more and more. So, like I said, we're going to have to adapt. And the other reason for that is when you go to look for your next spot, your landlord, I guarantee you, is going to go look at your Yelp and your TripAdvisor reviews. And everything that is on there is going to be held against you, or it's going to be something that's positive for you. I was talking to landlord brokers, which I speak to a lot. That's what I do. I basically have relationships with all the landlord brokers. Basically, they were telling me that they will look at your social media, they will look at your Facebook, they will look at your Yelp, they will look at your TripAdvisor, all of those things. So it may not feel like much to you, but for a person that's looking to try to find out more about your brand, it is a very, very big part of it. The competition is getting tough. You need to fire on all cylinders if you're a restaurateur. What I would say is basically look at the comments with an open mind. The other thing I want to say about competition is getting tough. I'll give you an example. I had a space that one of my clients was interested in, and we looked at it and we kind of waffled a little bit. We were concerned about some parking issues. Well, by the time we finally got back to the landlord, he had 6 offers, 6 LOIs. So we're going to go in there and make an LOI ourselves, but that just shows you how quality space, if it's out there, you're going to get a lot of people bidding for it. And if you look at some of my other videos, I bring up things like business plan and stuff like that. But what you really need to do is look into all of it. Okay, my dogs are making noise, so this is just going to be a quick take, but I just want to run through everything. So basically, my rule number 1 would be no generic responses. It's real easy to just want to have a one way if it's a good review and one if it's a bad review. Those don't look right, and I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Because when they look at that page, these reviews are just going to stack up, and it's just going to, within a couple of reviews, you'll be able to say, oh, this guy is just either typing A or typing B. And I think what you're doing there, I don't know if it's going to hurt your brand, but it's definitely an opportunity that you have to fine-tune your brand and to really let people know the culture and the personality of your brand. So I would recommend taking a little more time and being a little more creative. Take the time to read the review and pick something specific, a comment that they make, highlight, or thank them in a unique way. I've seen a lot of people go way out of their way. I saw one guy recently, he had ambiance, food, service, 8 out of 10, and then he went in and described each item that he had in detail, basically taking them. These are people that are advertising on your behalf. So I think it would be pretty cool and pretty necessary for you to take a little time out and just look at them and say, hey, we really appreciate you taking the time out to give us such a great review. We love that item too. Matter of fact, Chef thought of that about 3 months ago when he was experimenting in the kitchen, or whatever it may be. Embellish a little bit. Let these people feel like they're being not only heard but appreciated, especially the good reviews. I see a lot of guys out there, they'll only address the negative reviews, and the positive reviews, I don't understand that at all. Why wouldn't you want to reinforce a positive review and have these people come back? Maybe even go so far as to say, introduce yourself next time. No reason why you can't keep a list of all the names of the TripAdvisor reviews, of people that gave you positive reviews back there. And if somebody comes in and said, hey, I was told to introduce myself, you have a list, a name, whatever, a free drink, maybe a cocktail that you're trying to push, maybe something creative that's coming out of the kitchen, a dessert, maybe a half-size dessert that you have pre-portioned on the side, or cut a half of it. All of this stuff can be expensed off and put into a promo tab, which can then be backed out of your inventory, and you can claim taxes on it. So there are ways to do this where it has minimal effect on your business itself, on the bottom line, and maximum effect on your marketing. So think about that. Like I said, ask them to introduce themselves and make a breakfast. Anyway, negative reviews. Okay, let's talk about negative reviews now. I would say that the thing to do here is to weigh them, and this is kind of where you may have to eat some humble pie. If you did it, admit it and correct it. I mean, that's about all you can do. If there's any leeway in there where the customer may have been right, then you have to correct it. I have a gentleman who had a food truck, and they said that the service took a long time for the food. And I mean, and as an example of how you could possibly spin that, it could be, so-and-so, Joe, we're so sorry you did not have a great experience. We got especially hit hard that night. It was a great evening. We had a great time, but we have to admit, we weren't stocked up. We weren't ready. We weren't ready for that type of volume. We appreciate your comments. We are working on that. Please give us another chance. If you're ever in the area again, feel free to text us, or blah, 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 something along those lines. Or, if somebody complains about the prices. I've seen that before, prices and size. Coming back with a response to the effect of, we try to use quality ingredients on everything that may make it look a little pricier than maybe some of the other things you've seen in the past, or our portions are smaller because we want people to have a tapas style experience. Whatever it may be, do it politely, do it strongly, and other people are going to see those comments. These comments are not just for the person that you're addressing, they are for the world. So I think that's a good way to look at it. And then there's always the you always want to kind of take the high road. Now, there is the nuclear option that I like to talk about. The nuclear option is basically, I'll give you an example. Here we go. Here's the review. I am having a hard time giving the place 2 stars. It is a small deli tucked away on 45th, close to the offices on 6th. The food was so-so at best. Being a vegetarian, my options were really restricted, but my non-vegetarian colleagues mentioned the food was just okay. It came out to roughly $15 a piece for lunch. The service was quick, but with $15, you can get better in the area. 2 stars. This gentleman's response. I'm having trouble understanding how you could have spent $15 on lunch, considering nothing in our deli is priced more than $11, tax included. If you did spend that much, I'm sure you got your money's worth. Either way, your review is quite vague, and I'm inclined to say you're full of, not sure if that's considered vegetarian or not. Take care. Now, I don't know if you want to go that route, but there are some other examples out there where somebody was trying to get to-go food from a high-end restaurant across the street, and they wouldn't do it, and she fired off this nasty Yelp review. And I'm sure most restaurateurs have experienced that, where somebody dangles the restaurant review over your head. And the best thing I can say about that is, you got to remember it's a long-term game. Okay, it's a long-term game. If people are going to dangle these reviews over your head, I had one when I was at Ceviche. I had a drunk group of people that came in at the end of the night. We were just getting ready to close down, and they wanted to grab some food, and it was just me and the bartender, and I could see where this was going. So basically, I told them that we were just closed, and she got very upset, started dropping a professional golfer's name, and this guy was getting married, the guy who was very, very inebriated to the point of falling into the bar. And I just knew I was going to get a bad Yelp review. And sure enough, a week later, I saw the review, and I basically explained the situation. So sorry you didn't have a good time. I remember you very distinctly. I have to say that the person you were with was quite inebriated. Very happy about his wedding, hope they had a good time, and we hope we can serve you in the future. Unfortunately, at that time, we didn't feel you guys were in the best condition to enjoy our food the way it should have been enjoyed. And those are ways you can address it. Anyway, I believe the attitude you put behind your social media or in any task in life, it shows the details. It shows in the details. So remember, your TripAdvisor and Yelp page is an opportunity for you to show your brand and the culture behind your brand. Just like Wendy's and some of the others I've seen are having fun with social media, you can have fun with it too, and it can help you drive some sales. So best of luck with that. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, please subscribe and ring the bell. And anytime I've got new content, reviews, educational material, stuff that's up for discussion, I always want to hear everybody's point, especially other restaurateurs, and see how you're dealing with things like social media. Anyway, best of luck. Stay hungry.